Hello everyone, today is Tuesday, July 31st, the last day of the month, and it's 3:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On my right is my PC clock, and you can see the date and the time, and on my left is the time in sales, and you can confirm the Emini S&P trading at 28.18 1/4. Okay, it was a great day for the auto trader today. First up is the DAX on a Super Renko 14 tick, and this is the one with the larger profit goal. And I played around with this quite a bit, and I kind of settled in at 3,500. The other 14 tick I'm running is at 2,000. And anyway, this was hit. The other one was stopped out. And let's take a look at what happened here. This reached its goal because of trades that happened after the U.S. session. The DAX generally has really two parts to it. You have the London session or the Eurex session, which is 8 a.m. Eastern Time, not Eastern Time, 8 a.m. in European Time is 3 a.m. Eastern Time. I have my computer clock set to Eastern Time. And then there's kind of a resurgence of volume and activity when the U.S. session opens at 9:30 a.m. So what happened with the DAX today is it had a pretty major drawdown here, about 800 per contract, but then it recovered from there. So it had a swing of, it did 33.75, but it was minus 1,600. So it had a swing of 5,000 in P&L in the other direction from its drawdown. And what's interesting is the auto trader is capable of doing this. Of course, you'll be white knuckling it while this were to occur, and that's why when you do trade, you don't need to trade large size or even have goals of this size. This is not necessary. The goals I choose for these charts are often kind of arbitrary, just based on what's the most I think it can make consistently. But in actual trading for your own account, depending on the size of your account, your daily goals should probably be much less than this, unless you have large trading accounts of 50,000 or greater. So for smaller accounts, you can easily trade one contract with a smaller profit goal. That's not unreasonable. Anyway, if you look at the trades after we drew down, we had some really nice swings, which helped to recover, and this ultimately hit its goal, and it looks like it had some slippage at the close of trading here. All in all, pretty impressive performance on the DAX Super Renko. Okay, next is the DAX on 150 high Kanashii tick chart. This chart has emerged to be one of our more consistent charts. This chart delivers near its goal quite often, and here it is again today. It did 26.12, and the goal on this is 25.50, so obviously we had positive slippage, and this was done in two trades, and these moves don't look that large, but this is just a good chart for the DAX, and it's actually a pretty good chart on a lot of different markets. Notice the indicator signals here are pretty right on. No Fibonacci, no order flow, just volatility. Volatility is a measurement of the swings, and at some point buying overtakes selling, selling overtakes buying, and you get a change in direction. The auto trader itself is not a trend following system. It is a directional system. It goes with the direction of volatility. It's not, the coding of it is not a trend breakout formula like you might read about in books about trend following. The auto trader is not that at all. It's a directional following system, and therefore it works in any chart or time frame of any liquid market, of course, but it will follow direction. And so even on a small time frame, as long as there's swings of some magnitude, it can effectively trade those swings. And this is a pretty good example that illustrates the directional nature of the auto trader. These are not big trending moves here. They're just normal swings in the course of the day. Okay, next up is the DAX on a 34 Kanashii chart. Now this is a really small time frame, relatively speaking, and we are using the line break logic. We once again notice the indicators here, really awesome signals on the indicators, and this is also using our line break logic. So this long, for example, went long because we had blue bars and we had the indicator signal to go long, like right here. So looks like we got prematurely stopped out here. This trade went a little longer, but anyway, this looks like it hit its goal. I think the goal on this is 2,000, and it did, and it had positive slippage. But again, about our discussion of volatility is in the Autotrader being a directional based strategy, or I really don't like to call it a strategy. I prefer to call the Autotrader a tool. And but the logic of the Autotrader is based on volatility, not trend following. Okay, next up is the Emini S&P on a Super Renko 4-tick chart, and this one is using the Super Renko 6 as a higher time frame. It has a goal of 1,050, so that goal was hit, and we had a tick of slippage. Looks like 2 ticks. This was a really nice trade here, this long trade. So pretty nice performance on the Super Renko 4-tick with the 6-tick higher time frame. Okay, we have a live position here in the Dow Emini contract, 1597 Kanashii chart. We have a closed P&L of 675 and an open P&L of 515. This is trading only 2 contracts. We had a couple of small winners here to start. This was really break even, and a small winner and a small loser, but then a really nice trade here, and then short here, and currently short. So the goal on this is 1750, and we're about 2/3 of the way there. Okay, so next up is the BWT Super Renko 4-tick on the Emini S&P, and this has a 6-tick higher time frame. We saw this chart just yesterday, and this did 1,025, and our goal on this is 1,050. So we had 2 ticks slippage. We always enter a market order when we hit our goal, and slippage goes both ways, as we've seen many times. Okay, just wanted to bring over the Dow E-mini on the 1597 Kanashii. It closed its trade here and ended up with 1285 for the day. Okay, the crude oil on a Super Renko 8-tick did 890, and it looks like about 4 trades here, trading 2 contracts. This is also using our line break logic. Okay, the Emini S&P on a 5-minute chart has been very consistent for us, and this did 737.50 today. That's about 14 points in the Emini S&P, or 7 points per contract approximately. The first trade here was, I think, 10 points as the first target, so there was a lot more equity high here. It was well over $1,000. And then we're pretty liberal on our trailing stop here. Nevertheless, 737.50 for the day on 2 contracts is a great day for the Emini S&P. Okay, next up is the Emini S&P on a Super Renko 2-tick with a higher time frame filter of a Super Renko 4-tick. And we've seen this chart quite a few times. Really nice looking trade here, catching most of this upside move. This was good for about 12 points here. That's 48 ticks. Our first target on this was 12 ticks, 3 points. Anyway, this hit its goal. It did 725 for the day. The goal is 750, so it had a couple of ticks of slippage exiting here. Okay, next up is the Russell on a Super Renko 4 tick. This was moderately active today and ultimately finished at 790. Quite a few trades here, as this is a fairly busy chart for the Russell. This looks like it was all over the place, but still finished the day at 790. That's respectable. And then the Russell on a 377 high Kanashii chart had a lot less trades and did 495 for the day. The gold contract, continuing to show consistency, finished at 500 on 2 contracts, 1 loser and 2 winners. Okay, the DAX on a Super Renko 6 tick had an equity high of nearly 2,000, if not 2,000, right here on these couple of trades. And so this was pretty much all over the place and finished at 462.50. So I guess when you get to this kind of P&L, it's kind of quit while you're ahead. Okay, the Emini S&P on a 1597 high Kanashii chart started off with a drawdown of about 200 per contract here, and then came back and made an equity high of 600 and finished at 350. Not too terrible. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching today.